So you know that little fad everybody had about a year and a half ago? I'm about to get real Chris Farley on you. I started seeing like all this shit in my news feed about, let's get an Italian, but chop it. You're a loser. This is Hoagie Dip. It's always been Hoagie Dip. I've been eating this since the 90s. Chopped sandwiches are not anything new. You just all live under rocks if you don't know what Hoagie Dip is, and that's okay. I'm here to show you, but don't call it a chopped hoagie. That doesn't exist. And whoever makes that, loser. Loser! Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jay from Farina Di Vita, and today we're making Hoagie Dip. Damn it, I wish I would have stayed up. All right, so Hoagie Dip. I'm gonna show you guys what I do when I'm making it. I don't carry it in the shop typically, but it's definitely stuff I do for catering and parties and whenever I don't want a sandwich, I guess. I just kind of do this with my leftovers. So we take all these meats and all these cheeses and we chop them. Typically, I like to cut them on the thicker end. Like, this isn't the thickness that I would use in the shop when I'm making a sandwich. I usually shave that, but for this and the purposes of the Hoagie Dip, we do it a little bit thicker. So usually I cut the meats and the cheeses first, and then I hop into all this fun shit afterwards. So for today, the meats that I'm gonna use is my typical Italian that I do in the shop. So it's mild provolone, domestic prosciutto, Genoa salami, and ham gabagool. Gabagool. And then I also am gonna use some New Yorker American cheese and some pepper turkey. We cut everything in strips first, especially the cheese. We wanna make that a little bit thinner than we would the meats, because that can get real thick. And then I'll cube it down. And then what I'll do is I kind of just break it up a little in the bowl. So I always use 2 different types of cheeses. That way it just gives it a little bit more of a flavor profile. The American's nice and creamy. The provolone, even though it's the mild provolone, it gives it a nice little sharp edge. So I like that, it sticks out a little bit. And then heading into the meats, I do the same thing. You want to give it like a fine little chop, like a fine little dice. Well, not fine, but I give it a nice small dice. Come on, come in, I don't bite. Come take a look at this. So you see the strips I have there. So first I start with the strips, and then what'll happen is when I get the strips, I start cutting it in cubes. That way, you know, you get pieces that are like that all throughout. Come over here, I don't bite, come here. I'd like to do the cheeses first. That way when I'm done chopping up the cheese, I blend them together. So that way you don't see just like American and provolone, and it gets a nice mix. And then I start doing the meats afterwards, and I mix them in and I blend them kind of like what I'm doing right now, each meat at a time. That way it gets evenly distributed. Farina's been open since January of 23. I've been in this space since June of 22. But it took us a little bit to get open. City had some other plans. So, but we've been here and open since January of 23. And it's been a hell of a ride so far. The hardest part about running the shop, the dead honest answer, having to deal with my landlord. He fell off the roof 2 weeks ago. And dude, I honestly thought he was gonna die, but he just got up and walked away. Roaches live forever, dude. Outside of that though, I'd say honestly, trying to keep everybody happy. At the end of the day, I have a strict plan of what I want to do with Farina and how I want to operate. But I also have this little thing about me where I like to try and please everybody, which is not possible. But I'd say that's kind of hard, determining what I can do to please everyone, but also stay within my bounds of what I can actually handle. That's probably the toughest task, honestly. You know, another thing that's kind of tough is making sure that our goals for the company and our morals and everything kind of stands out, like for the things that we do, like in the community, and how we kind of handle events and charities and things like that. Just like making sure that people actually see that stuff, because sometimes it can kind of get lost when you're so busy scheduling and ordering and all that stuff. It gets kind of tough to keep that stuff in the forefront. So that's another tough task, is trying to make sure everybody sees all the things that we're doing that may not necessarily be in shop. So, you know, just kind of blending this in, kind of making sure everything gets incorporated. You kind of want ideally, it's not possible usually, but ideally you want everybody to get a little piece of everything in every bite. So I mix as I go just to make sure that it all gets incorporated, and it's just a meat tornado. But yeah, so listen, definitely don't call this a chopped hoagie. That's not a real thing. It was a fad a year and a half ago, and it should have died before it even started. This has always been Hoagie Dip. It has never been anything different. No one really chops hoagies. If anybody did that, you were just kind of jocking off the TikTok bullshit. It was at every party, New Year's Eve, it didn't matter. Any graduation party, any summer barbecue, somebody always made Hoagie Dip, or we went and bought it from somewhere else. I think it came from, you know, some delis in the city, like, you know, a lot of places, they hate waste. I hate waste. If you look at my menu, a lot of things are interchangeable because I don't want something to go bad. I want to be able to use it. So if you don't like one sandwich, well, guess what? Another sandwich on my menu probably uses that meat in some form. That way I don't waste it. So I think this was kind of a way for delis to not have waste back in the day. Because, you know, back in the 90s and early 2000s, everybody really wasn't that creative. You got Italian, turkey and cheese, and ham and cheese, right? But this was a way for them to not have waste and not have to throw like the ends of meat away. And that's the true reason why you were chopping it, because those ends get really thick and they're kind of uneven and they're ugly. So you can't use it for lunch meat. So the better way to do it than chop it up and kind of make a dip with it. And I think that's where that kind of came from. I'm no philosophizer. All the meat now and the cheeses are incorporated. I've given it a nice little mix. This is, in my opinion, this is kind of what you want it to look like. Meat and cheese, that's a nice mixture of both. It's not too heavy on the cheese or too heavy on the meat. I think that's a nice little blend. Now I just kind of go right into the fun. Lettuce is cool. I shred it on the slicer, so it's already pretty thin. I just give it a quick chop, just so there's not like too many big strands. So basically for me, when I came up with the way I wanted to do Hoagie Dip, I did it the way I like to eat hoagies. So I put everything that I would like or I would eat like on an Italian. Sometimes I feel mayo, sometimes I don't. You know how that's like a sin nowadays anyway. People got something to say about everything. You got so many people that are like, I ask them, you know, when they call up the shop, Italian hoagie, I'm like, all right, how would you like that? And most people just say the works, which for me, see, I put the cheese and the meats on the roll. Everything else, you tell me. I don't want to assume how you want your sandwich. But I'll give you the option for the works. That way you don't got to sit on the phone for 38 minutes and tell me everything you don't do and don't want. But for me, the works is lettuce, tomato, and onion, oil, mayo, and vinegar, seasonings, hots, pickles, and sweet peppers. It's everything. Everything that's free for a hoagie. But for me, if I'm eating a sandwich with the works, mayo's going on it. Because there's just something about the blend of all of that together when you're taking the bite. And I know for some people, you know, they'll say, oh yeah, you want the works, and I'll tell them what's on the works, and they're like, ew, mayo. And I'm like, all right, dude, you don't know how to eat, you don't know how to eat, but how do you want it then? Because then you obviously don't want works. But when you say works to me, it's everything. So I don't want to hear works, no pickles. That's not works. You want lettuce, tomato, onion, oil, mayo, vinegar, hots, and sweets then. Don't tell me works. Because if I say works, I'm writing works, and that's the end. Move on to the next sandwich. Typically every day I use a 5x6 tomato. It's kind of tough to get, you know, a Jersey tomato in here, because who's got real Jersey tomatoes versus who don't? When are they in season, not in season? You know, we got to stay consistent. So we use 5x6s on a day-to-day basis. So now we're going to knife these onions. I don't chop nothing, I knife them. Just so people don't get it confused.
I think most people, what they do is they chop it all at once.
All at once, and they fucking put it in the paper, and then they're like chopping it from up here and shit. I'm not. Don't do none of that. This shit takes love. Even when you're making slop, it takes love. For me, it does. I'm sure there are some places in the city that cut corner, that have their own way of doing things, and they don't chop it the way I do. But I mean, like, get in on this onions. Like, watch how thin this is. I want this shit to melt in your mouth. when you're eating it. So I'm fine chopping this. Like, I'm missing 3 fingertips, hot water doesn't bother my hands, and onions cry when I chop them. I've been doing this shit. When me and Nick used to work for P&S Ravioli, and we had this older guy that worked with us, and he was like your stereotypical like wall ball, like stick ball, like old school Italian dude. Used to hang on corners and drink 40s and shit, and we would always like tell him shit, like how to do things a little different. And he'd be like, yo, I've been doing this since you was swimming around your daddy's nutsack. That was his line. There'd be 1 million people in the shop, and he's saying that so loud, and everybody's like, all right, nutsack, heard, thank you. I forget his name. No, not Mario Grimaldi. Nah, it was a dude that worked at 17th Street. I forget his name. But he was classic, dude. When all this shit just sits together all mixed up, this tastes better definitely the day after, especially because like all these things don't live together. You know what I'm saying? The pickles, the peppers, they're all separate over there in the bay. So chopping them and then blending them and then adding like all of that shit together and letting it sit for a day. And then for this part, what you do is you take this pickle and you throw it on the fucking... Hey, Nick, pickle time. Ready? Oh. Fuck. All right, one more. Ready? Oh.
Somebody's tapping on the window right now.
Oh!
Listen, this is nothing on. Look,
It was a mistake.
it was a mistake because they just wanted turkey instead of corned beef.
Fucker, it's mine now.
So what do you gotta do? You gotta have just the corned beef and the cheese. Get some of the stuff out of here. Put it in.
Ferrante's Fine Meats in Overbrook. Fuck what you heard. Come on, I'm gonna pay you today now. See that?
Yeah, it's good. You got a good credit, baby.
I'll see you, Ralphie. Every day. So you might say, Jay, why do you have a whisk? I'll tell you why. Just like when you blend this shit up, you gotta blend up all the fun shit too. Because you wanna make sure you got the consistency. Because if you don't, then you're gonna sit here like an asshole and mix in a ton of mayo until you figure out where it's at. Instead, if you put the mayo here, along with the oil, the vinegar, and the spices, you get your consistency in here and make sure you got enough to cover the whole dish, and then you toss it. So first I go in with a little bit of mayo, I hit it with some olive oil, and I hit it with some red wine vinegar. Now, I'm gonna have to go back in with vinegar in a little bit just so I make sure I got the consistency that I want, but right now I'm just adding what I need to. Got some black pepper in there, and then of course I hit it with a little bit of oregano. Again, everything that I would put on a hoagie with the works. So then I hit it with the whisk a little bit just to, again, incorporate, make sure everything's getting in there. Once everything's kind of incorporated, I start looking at the texture, right? Because I want this to be thin. I want this to be a little bit thin, that way it makes its way through all the meats and cheeses. So this is the consistency that I'm looking for. Think like melted gelato. Wow, you never mixed up your fucking ice cream and like drank it when you were a kid? Just wait for it to melt?
That was my favorite part of the sherbet.
Yeah. Alright. Aw, fuck your mother. Alright. Fuck you!
Pick it up.
This dude's last name is Brando. I feel like I have to pick it up. Farina Di Vita. We're actually completely sold out of bread, cutlets, eggplant, and meatballs, unfortunately. Yeah, they hit us pretty hard. We'll be back tomorrow at 11, brother. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Bye, Brando. So now I do the part of the face. I marry all the ingredients. Little by little, I put it in the bowl. And I mix it, and then you put it in your mouth. All right, so now incorporation. That is like literally the fucking word of this entire project. So I put it all together, and I do it little by little. So I'll pour a little bit of the goop, if you will, in, and then literally I give this an incorporation toss. That way the lettuce, tomato, the onion, the pickle, the hots is all mixed in with the meats and cheeses, and then I start marrying it. It's literally it. You're gonna want to get this. Back up.
Oh, wait, what are you doing?
I'm fucking throwing it.
Oh, you're throwing it?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, go for it.
Yeah? Oh, fuck yeah, my dick's hard.
Keep that.
You can keep that in.
That's also what she said.
But then I hit it again with a little bit of the hanger. And now I just kind of fold. I fold, and then as I see I need more, say mayo or whatever, I'll start adding it in. And once I get that consistency that I want of the dip, I won't add any more of the little mayo that I made. And then I'll taste it and check for like if it needs more pickles, if it needs more peppers, if I need some more spice. I do like to top it with a little bit of granulated garlic at the end. Just kind of gives it one little bit, like one more layer. So this is the consistency typically that I would want for this, like if I were eating this today. But since this is for tomorrow, I'm gonna add a little bit more mayo to this just to give it some more moistness, for lack of a better term, because overnight when this sits, it's gonna soak that up. So you definitely want it wet. Hey, yo, Nick, join me. Join the mince, bitch. Oh, fuck, did you get that or no? There's a sauce that I carry in the shop called Jondiments. Local company, good friend of mine. And I've been using a little bit of Jondiments in all the Hoagie Dip that I've been making for like catering and stuff like that. To just kind of A, get it a little bit more moist, but then B, also spice it up a bit. He does long hot, he does cherry pepper. Today I put a little bit of long hot in there because I ran out of cherry pepper because the sauce is so fucking good I sell out of it. But yeah, you can get this in shop and you can ask for it on your sandwiches. I always have it. So once you get it to the consistency that you want, what you do is you take your roll and you get the spatula and you put it in and you make a chopped hoagie. I'm just fucking kidding. Don't do that shit. Damn, I was hoping I made it in sync. Damn it, dude. I was trying to get it in the sink. I was so close. All right. So instead of making a mess like I just did, what you're gonna wanna do is box up your Hoagie Dip. Put it in a bowl, put it in a container, however you want, a tray, whatever. How I like to serve it is I cut up some seeded bread in like these little squares here. You can use some chips. If you're on your healthier kick, go grab some pita chips. Either way, that's the only way to eat Hoagie Dip. You see that? How fucking easy is that? Don't make a sandwich out of it. You're a jerk off if you do that. And hey, if you find yourself on this little corner of 3rd and Catherine here in Philadelphia, stop by and see your boy. You know why? Because I have gelato. Me and Coco's Gelato. Collab flavor. Blueberries, lemon curd, graham cracker, brown butter gelato. And guess who made that lemon curd? Your boy. Gelato.
That's perfect.
Hey, yo, Nick, let me get one of them Jones, bro. Damn it. Yo, Nick, let me get a John. Fucking stupid fat hand cock-sucking piece of shit. It's Hoagie Dip, bitch.